Yeah. Today we are going to start the new chapter, that is the introduction to the microprocessor. And this is our last chapter we are going to complete. Now, what is the microprocessor, that I'll first explain, and then we'll start the programming, how we will do it on the programming, right? Till now we have completed 2 units, so that is the digital technique, and this is the last unit, last chapter of the or subject, that is the digital techniques and the fundamental of microprocessor. Now, what is a microprocessor, that we will first, right? Microprocessor is basic. The computer is a programmable machines that receives the input and stored and manipulate the data and information and provides the output in a useful format, right? It receives the data, it stores the data. As a computer, what we are receiving the data, we are storing the data, we are manipulating the data with the informations and all, and providing the what according to the output we want. That is a basic computer, right? The microcontroller is also the basic computer. Now, basic computer system consists of CPU, memory, and input output devices. This we have seen into our basic fundamental of computer. Now, this is the basic block diagram of the computer. This is your CPU, that is called the control process unit. ROM, that is a permanent memory. ROM, read only memory. RAM, read only memory. And input output interface. Input output interface means what? It is a device that we can interface. Your keyboard is the input device, your monitor is the output device, your speaker is the output device, your mouse is the output device. So that is the input and output devices are interfacing. Now there are the address bus and the data bus. Address bus means what? The destination, whether the data is going to the output port or taking a data from the input port. For that, it is a address bus, it is a addressing, right? It is, for example, in our city lots of houses are there, but each and every house has a their own address. So if you want to send any these letters and also, you need to put the address of home number, Andheri station, yeah, Mumbai, something like that. So the same is here into the digital system. You need to provide the address, this data is going to these devices, right? So this is the fundamental and basic computer system, what we have seen earlier also. Now, the microcontroller, the basic concept of the microprocessor, what is there? The microcontroller is a programmable machines. The two principal characters of the computers are respond to a specific set of instruction in well-defined manner, right? It is a specific set of instruction, means it's a programmable device, and it has a specific set of instructions which is well defined in a manner, right? It can execute the pre-recording list of the instructions, that is called the program. Its main components are CPU, input output device, and memory. This is your microcomputer, right? This small phone is also or the microcontroller, nowadays it is working, right? Now, what is a microprocessor? Microprocessor is a programmable VLSI chip which include ALU, registered circuits, and control units. Its main unit are the ALU, registered, and control unit. The microcontroller is a silicon chip, right? Microprocessor, what the basic unit are there? ALU. ALU means it is a arithmetic logic unit, registered, and the control unit, right? These are the microprocessor unit. Now, what is a register? It is a temporary registers over there. Control unit means what? They need to control the specific devices, right? Data bus, address bus, so from where we send the data. So that is a control unit. Each and every human body is also the control unit. Our brain is controlling all our hands, legs, eyes, movement, and all. So that kind of the control unit there into the microprocessor. Microcontroller silicon chip, which consists include the microprocessor, memory, and IO in a single packages, right? in a single packages. Nowadays we are using Arduino. This is what the microcontroller. It has a microprocessor, it has a small bit of a memory, it has a input and output devices, right? So this is a microcontroller. Now, the basic block diagram. This is your microprocessor, that is a CPU, input devices, memory and output devices, as we have seen in our first semester also, fundamental of microprocessor. Now, microcomputer, what is there? Registered, ALU and control unit. Microcontroller, what is there? Microcontroller, microprocessor, memory, input output devices and peripheral devices, that is ADC means analog to digital converter, timer and serial input output devices. Now this our phone has all these things. We have a timer there, we have a serial input output port because wirelessly data is coming, we are using a internet and all. So our phone is using a small bit of a microcontroller, right? And this is a microprocessor. It has only register, ALU and control unit, right? We can carry on. Definitions of the microprocessor. Microprocessor is a programmable, clock driven, registered based electronics device that reads the instruction from the storage device and take the data from the input unit and process the data according to the instructions and provide the results to the output unit, right? It takes the data. It is a basically programmable device. It is clock driven. Clock driven means what? That particular task required to perform some that particular task required some time to perform the task. So that is why it is called as the task driven, right? Registered base. It is a registered base means small amount of registered storage device to perform the arithmetic and logical calculation that the processor has a ALU. So small amount of memories are there into the microprocessor. So electronics device that reads the instruction from the storage device. Storage device means what? First there is a, we interface the ROM and RAM there. So we store the program. So read it from there, the perform the task the data from the input unit and process the data according to the instructions. What kind of instructions will give you? So it is a predefined, well manner defined instructions, right? Well manner defined a program. So it is a perform the instruction according to the mannered program and provide the result to the output unit, right? It is a programmable means perform the different set of operations on the data and depending on the sequence of the instructions supplied by the programmable. Clock driven means the whole task is divided into the basic operations and are divided into the specified system of clock period, right? Registered base means it is a small storage element and electronics device means fabricated on the chip, right? So this is the basic definition of our microprocessor. Microprocessor based system with the bus architecture, right? These all are connected with the bus architecture, right? So all our houses are connected with the roads, so that road is our bus. We can say that if we want to, if I wanted to go to the Santa Cruz, definitely I have to pick up the link road and go to the Santa Cruz. So by driving or by walking or by picking anything, so that is the bus. The route is called as a bus architecture, right? So this is a memory, ROM, RAM, and this is input, output, all are connected to the microprocessor. This is your microprocessor, ALU, arithmetic logic unit, registered array, and the control unit. So these all three devices, three parts of microprocessor are connected with the bus architecture system. So ALU is the arithmetic and logical operations like the addition, subtraction, ANDing and ORing. All of you that arithmetic means all the arithmetic operation, logical means all the logical, ANDing, ORing, XORing, NORing and all. So that operations perform. Register array means what? Storage the data during the execution of program. Control unit means what? Is provide the necessary timing and control signals, right? It controls the flow of data between the microprocessor and peripheral, right? This control unit is very important. It controls, it's manage the all address bus, data bus, it transferring the data from a microprocessor to the input output device unit, it transferring the data from microprocessor to the memory devices, it transferring the data from input output to the memory devices. So all the transportations or transferations of the data and address, it will manage with the control unit. So it is very important control unit, as like our brain. So whole the blood circulation in our body, it's managed by our brain signals. So all the signals are coming from the brain, what we are speaking also. So it controls the unit, right? Now memory. The storage information such as the instruction and data in the binary format, it is 0 or 1. It will storage in the form of 0 or 1. Subsystem of microprocessor based system. Subsystem includes the register inside the microprocessor, right? So there are two type of memories are interface into the microprocessor. One is read only memory used to store the program and do not need to alternations, right? It is a fixed permanent memory, right? Read only memory, only we can read, we cannot write and erase and delete and again write and again read. Only whatever, once it is a manufacturing, during that time whatever the data is stored into this memory, that data is only we can read the data from that memory. Second memory type is the random access memory, or we can call it as the read write memory, used to store the program that can read and altered like the program and data, right? So this is the memory has a two type of memory. We can interface to the microprocessor, that is a ROM, read only memory, and that is a RAM, random access memory. Here it is a temporary storage, we can write, we can erase, again we can write and we can do the alterations and all, right? Third is input output device, it is communicated with the outer side world, right? This is the inside the part of the microprocessor, but that whatever the performance is doing inside the micro, that should be interact with the outer world. So that has the input and output devices. System bus, it is a communication path between the microprocessor and the peripherals. Why it is the word is peripheral? Peripheral means what? Like our body is there and our hands, legs, these are the peripherals of body. So whatever the peripherals means, whatever the it is interfacing the devices with the microprocessor, that is the input and outputs, that input and output devices is called as the peripherals of the system, right? The group of wiring to carry the bits, right? How does the microprocessor use? Yeah, this is very important. How the microprocessor is used to execute a program? The microprocessor reads each instruction from the memory. It interrupts. Interrupt means what to do with that, that is called the interruptions, and then execute or perform it. So this is a microprocessor works. It first execute the program. The program reads each and every instructions from the memory in a sequence manner, right? One by one steps. So while writing a program, you need to think that which task is performed has to be a first. Suppose if you want to come to the college, so you get up early in the morning, you get the fresh, and then you come to the station, you pick up the train, you reach to the Santa Cruz, again you pick up the bus and you come to the campus, and then you can come to the class. This is a sequence of your task to reach to the college, right? If you are missing this sequence, first you get up and you come to the station, again you go back from the station, you have a bath, again you pick up the train. So what is this sequence is a mismatch, so that is not your proper program. So whatever interruptions, whatever sequence, your instructions you are giving to the microprocessor, that has to be a sequence. So sequence of programming is very important. That's called the well defined program, right? So that interrupts and then execute and the perform, right? The right name of the cycle is fetch. It is named as to fetch the instruction, to decode the instruction. Decode means understand the instruction, what it means to say that this instruction, and it execute. Execute means it's perform. So first is what microprocessor work is to fetch the instructions from the memory, what program you have stored one by one. Then it is decode. Decode means understand what to do with this instruction, what is the meaning of this instruction, and by using this instruction what microprocessor has to perform, right? And then execute. Then execute means what? It is a performing. So this sequence is continuous until all the instructions performed, right? So this is a sequence to perform all the instructions, right? Machine language, what do you mean by machine language? We have learned only there are the two bits are the machine language is 0 and 1, right? So to communicate with the computer, instruction is given into the binary language, right? It is a binary language, that is a 0 and 1, that is called the machine language. Microprocessor has 8 bit. So 2 to the power 8 means 256 combination. So difficult to write the program in the set of 0 and 1s, right? So there is a instruction is only 256, that is the opcode of the instruction is from 00 to FF only. So we have only the 256 combination of the instruction. Within that 256 combination of the instructions, we need to perform our task, right? Suppose your instruction is 0011 and 1100 is an instruction increment the number in the accumulator by 1. Later on we will see the instruction set also. So this kind of instructions also, this is decode, and performing what? It will increment the content of accumulator by 1. This is your performance. So now suppose one instruction is 1000 so now this is our 80 is an instruction of add the number in the register B to the accumulator content and keep the result into the A. So these are the instruction. This is the understanding the decoding the processor, that what to do with this data whatever I have. So it is very tedious and error inductive. For the convenience, write the hexadecimal of code. It is very this tedious job. So instead of this, we write the instructions into the hexadecimal code. For example, 0011 or 1100. That means it is equivalent for the 3C. So this is 3C is one kind of the instruction of code. So what does the 3C? 3C does the accumulator data is incremented by 1. That we'll see later on. You will understand while performing the program, right? Even the program is write into the hexadecimal, it is difficult to understand the program is written into the mnemonics, right? It is very difficult the program to write into the hexadecimal. So for that it is a mnemonics kind of there, right? For example, so 3C, we know that 3C hex, this is H is defined. 3C means what? Our accumulator data is incremented by 1. So instead of that, it is represent that INRA. INR means everyone can understand, it is a short form of the increment, and A is there means accumulator data is incremented by 1. So later on we will understand now. Now suppose this is the short form of A, INRA. INR stands for the increment and A is the accumulator. That symbol suggested that the operation is incrementing the accumulator by 1, right? So similar 1000 is equivalent 80H. It's represent as ADDB. This means that ADD means it is a addition and B is represent the content of the B register. This symbol suggested that the addition of number in a register B to the accumulator and keep the result into the A. So the microprocessor has 246 such a bit pattern amount to 74 different instructions for performing the various operations. We are going to study that, right? So now you can understand that. So instead of binary machine language, it convert into the hexadecimal form, and that hexadecimal form is converted into the mnemonics to understand us. So what do you mean by this, right? Now the second chapter is the architecture and the pin diagram of microprocessor. So we'll take a slight break for this 2 minutes here, and we'll continue the next chapter. Okay, Pranali, just 2 minute break, beta. Hello, hello.
Yes, miss.
Yeah, just 2 minute break, beta. We'll continue next. Huh? Just I'll come. Huh?